29, I had a dream about Archie Mounbatten. Um, so this one is it's my second one, by the way, and this one I see him, I see his parents, uh, Prince Harry, and what's his last name? I don't even know. Windsor Mounbatten, anyways, and I shouldn't say anyways, but and the woman Merkel, Markle, it's even a politician called like this. Anyways, that lady from Toronto, and now they pass from Vancouver and then in LA. Anyways, so I see them with the kid, and comes a big dog, two big dog next to them, one after another, and I feel that it's their dogs. And I think the first one, uh, they were big dogs. Like the second one, man, they were both big dogs, like very big dogs, coming like almost to your knees or and waist, I should say those big dogs. So the second one was black, almost seemed like a Labrador, a very big dog. Uh, Maybe had a smaller nose, those giants dogs. And I think the first one was a bit, anyways, I can't remember really, but I think he was more white, uh, kind of fluffy, but I'm not too sure. But they were big dogs, especially the second black one. I was showing much more as that it changed, and they were. Let's say I'm standing here. They were at my anyway. It's not important, but let's say right, northeast, and then I see the inside of the car. They got into a car, and I'm thinking it's a danger for the dog because there was not a lot of the dog. Excuse me, for the baby, for Archie Mounbatten, because there was not a lot of space in the car. And then I was shown to see the inside of the car. I'm not gonna give interpretation. I actually tried to pray, and God told me, Uh, so he said in private, but he wanted me to share this. So I see this, and it might be a responsibility because I also share a couple ones, and I told the interpretation. I mean, the first one, but a couple times, and spoke about the danger and the temptation might have. But the inside of the car, I saw the big dog on the right, and my what do you call this? Uh, not my scare, but my it kind of faded away, but for a certain time, in meaning that in the car at the back seat, I didn't saw the other ones. I saw the dog and the black only sitting there. So the first one almost just passed, I guess, because he was not. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Anyways, he was sitting on the couch, sitting down, big dog. Then there was the parent male, which is what Prince Harry. Harry, his last name. I'm gonna look. I'm sorry about this. I have very few time. And then I saw the wife, Merkel, his mother, and then that's how I felt more safe. It's like the baby sat. She left the baby on the bench, and let's say the first one took about half, not half, but he had a space all to lie down. So he had a space. Let's say the space was divided maybe by two or by three, so, or four, but he had a space, like literally more than one space, and he was lying there. And but then I thought, what if the dog moves? This was in the dream. I don't interpret. That was my thoughts. I'm gonna say in the dream. I said, what if the dog moves? Now he's gonna cramp the other ones, and maybe, and that's what I mean by what if the dog moves. and then it disappeared, kind of black. But I was giving thoughts. I was giving those thoughts that I wrote away because I took a walk. Oh yeah, uh, the parent Prince Harry will be taken away. He will be taken away like I in this when I'm saying taken away is regarding Mounbatten, Archie. So his father will be taken away. How? I don't know. I know that I thought when I grew up and I heard it's not important, sickness, I was thinking what coronavirus because I thought it's imminent. But no interpretation, it's not given away because right now, as I'm saying it, something else comes to my mind. I don't want to say what, and I couldn't even finish my sentence. So I don't want to change this, prophetic. Nobody's paying me especially to say okay what it is, and nobody's so, and that means not me, that means my mission, that means for Christ. So back in the days, king didn't care. They say okay, they knew much more even in the Bible how much they were giving. But that's not the question here. I'm sharing. I'll be gone soon just like anybody. And even in a dream recently, God told me they wanted to give me half to find some things, whatever it's an agency or not. And God, He said, I'll have money tomorrow. So, and it was true in this thing. A check came up that I asked some funds online in a sport thing, and it came after 4 or 5 days, and it was the next day. But those are prophecies. It happens short term, long term. And that's the power of God when I see. But to finish this, He will be taken away. And I put sickness, coronavirus 2 interrogation mark. That was my personal thing. And I thought, what? He's gonna be sent back from England, and it's their decision. They did something. Recently had the Vengeance of God tsunami. Okay, I'm not gonna make stuff, but feel free to, and the reason for that. So this thing was still uh correct thought or not from me. It just happened very recently, or there 2 or 3, about another dream of England and Princess Diana. So I don't want to mix things. And then ultimately I was thinking that it was a mother choice. So let's say she will be left, it will be ultimately uh, it will come down to his mother choice, to the woman last choice. There's gonna be a choice from her. Let's say this happens because of this, but ultimately she has the last saying. She was closer to him in the dream, and I can interpret and rightly 50%, 100%. So I start to want to pray. I relax it. I got a place, which after a year, and I'm not trying to prove myself and making 4 or 5 videos and getting it right and showing the thought process. I've done that um, to a fault maybe. Eventually, what I thought will be nicer for me, it's wrong because some people sometimes they only see one of those 4 and they're like, oh, this guy's a bit off track. Nah, nah, nah. You see, sometimes it's not like they're my friends and I'm Shane, and they stay in an hour and we talk and they're like, yeah, man. Okay, so that's it, I guess. Is there anything? No. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna start to pray every time now, and see what's gonna happen. Well, let's say my thoughts, and it can change tomorrow. I think that the sickness or something's gonna happen. It can even be death to Prince Harry. I don't know. I thought sent back to England. It can be anything. It can be a tsunami that happens that hit there, it goes back. Something happens. Can be family. Can be war. World War III. Can be anything. but he's gonna be taken away from him growing up. Whatever, it's more symbolic, taken away as a father figure to replace for uh, a religion, a satanic devil father, or this black big dog, or racial. Because I've seen in the first dream that he was gonna give to blacks, even Indian at first, and then blacks, and progressively he had an afro black, but so he will be blinded to the race because of his background, like you know. Almost a black man savior, and you know how black people can be blinded because the white man also, or whatever reason, not all of them, but white did something, and then it makes the blind feel blind, just like fighting violence with violence. Excuse me for that. I'm going off track, but what I mean is that he will be taken away. I don't know how. And then ultimately his mother choice that was closer to him, because a mother, people will let the mother, like, and the choice, I believe she's Catholic. She can pray the rosary, which can beat the devil. So she can pray. She has God will listen to her prayer, and I believe this. So there will be this, because I usually don't feel like, but there was a man that talking that when people will be almost locked in FEMA or something, he passed over and he went over and he saw a cross, but Phil will junk to hold that cross, and like garbage back then, and that can represent bad, like, not like the Bible, how you read it, the scripture of Jesus, but a garbage of people holding the cross, but for deviated, just like maybe Rastafari, they deviate, or Jesus, and they deviate Scientology and stuff like that. But then he said when he went, and there was Android, but he shot the guy that was following him, so he got lucky, maybe by the grace of God. When he went there, he asked the people, what do you think about Jesus? He was in the United States, and they say, ah, that white guy. So he was white himself, but what I mean is that, and he saw a name on the cross, like they were cheering that name, and it might be just like Jesus, Archie, or something like this. So, uh, again, God told me, don't condemn nobody to be the Antichrist or something, but I put my elevation. We know there's many Antichrist spirit. Recently, I even spoke about how I saw him, short hair and eyes on like satellites up, square here, and I said, man, this, and a bit here and no beard. I said, man, this looks like Elon Musk to me. He did X.com, that came PayPal. He has SpaceX, X marked the sign of the beast. You cross yourself, is a denial, taking the mark of the beast, in another dream that God gave me a year ago. So you can even see it in the cross of this anti-pope, the denial with the cross like this. And I made a video last year talking about this. So whatever is gonna happen soon, comets, asteroid, fight, World War III, civil unrest, Muslim come, this gonna change one time. And now you got the 5G, which you don't even need sometimes. There's cameras everywhere they put in today, and it tracks you everything. And God told me that this is the mark of the beast last year, China, and a line is drawn between China and the mark of the beast. So whatever it's gonna be with 6G or more, and people know in the West, and I completely take my hat, not take my hat off, but I respect people who refuse that, whatever they are in government, because it's ultimately it's the taking out of the free will. Like somebody said, who works for these communication, you can opt out with 4G your phone and not being traced, but with 5G you cannot, because the system spies on you all the time, your face, what are you doing. You can call a taxi without your phone, just saying that. and it drops you on and off, and it's paid automatically. So unfortunately, I had Archie Mounbatten at the third stage of his life, but when I saw this, that he was giving people to buy this radio frequency, go buy yourself a radio, which is I didn't know it's like 5G, and I saw the modem, or it can be 6G by then. And So this is what I want to talk. And again, you got 3 points in this, and the big dog for me is can be the big black dog, huge black dog can be Satanist. Now he's in LA. It's a lot of Satanists. Myself in spirit when I was in Vancouver, so there's a spread. Cost a lot of money. It's almost like a heaven. A woman came. I've been told in a dream, be careful. She was blonde, be careful. And after meeting another angel, I shouldn't say angel, but somebody that didn't become or fell from grace, and a woman, my second girlfriend, this was almost was the third in becoming, and it hurt me. She have done I didn't know. Um, Chanel 12 page in a thing. So she was a model, and now she's nobody on the street. So me seeing this, it did hurt me. As I think you could call angel from it did hurt, and it hurts me. And now no more, because this I heard be careful in a vision, and then she show up within a week, and next thing you know, after talking to her and cannot do nothing for, or as a man, here's the thing, let's go buy stuff and this and get a condo or something. I did like literally sold my soul. The devil came when I was in Tim Horton alone, and I spit on the contract. He left. I talked about it. He said, I'll come back tomorrow. But then within 2 weeks, I stayed without doing nothing, just visions, just like communion of saints. But I heard to not talk about it. But on the other, and kept revelations from the dark side, didn't do nothing much. I thought maybe I'll go back to arts. And when the time came, the devil asked me to go get a beer, and I heard like all kinds of music was coming to me, a whole album within this afternoon when I would take a beer. And despite me having only 20 bucks and refusing welfare, and it was easy, it was just coming to me. And I could see different two guys, especially in the music industry, Dead Mouse and another, that I not met, but they knew me from a party or something in Toronto. But then, and I was doing art and music, but I always erase it. And one time I even see a mouse on my wall when I was doing music, so erase it. And it did erase without showing. And what I wanted to say is that when I was on my way to go in that place, that outside restaurant, Patio, nor, and I heard to praise the devil, and I didn't. I back out. And then came a whole vision that lasted 3 hours just to turn around. I spoke about it, and I had like 5 points, almost if it's like a Station of the Cross, but it was uh, following God. I said, look that box, and I look, and there was no chocolate. He said, if you follow me, and that's what you're gonna get, and I couldn't. That was Jesus. Then I continue. It was all passing through war, passing through the Pope with the rock. I refuse. Then the Antichrist with Trump scene. I seen the four signs of Illuminati with one that you never had seen it nowhere. I could not have imagined. I withhold it for 1 year, and then I think I publish it. It's a little, anyways, helicopter, and you turn, and was it clock side or not? And the other one was like this and this. The third one I remember was in the eye. Second one was like this. I think the first one was how he does it on TV. So I refuse. And I seen the vision as Trump, and at that time in 2019, maybe the Antichrist, as the most powerful man who doesn't talk about God. He cannot serve two. But And then I heard I continue. I refused that. Then I started. There was even a stage. Was very like the most supernatural. One of them, and I've felt one time a near death experience. But what I mean is that as I lived, one of the most, and there was no drug, there was no weed, there was no beers, and then the Antichrist. There was even a stage back then. Nobody was there. Was past midnight or close by there, and then I almost start talking with my hands. Every like place meant something. Just and then it made me thought about Hitler afterwards. But then I continue. I didn't please myself in that. Though with all the power that I've been, the blemish came afterwards. You don't do nothing in the middle. So almost lunatic, not for evil, not for God. So, but I that change to take place. I remember after that I slept instead of running, and God, the devil pushes you, and you're cold, and you look good, and because you're killing the things you don't eat, and people all think you're pretty, but it's empty inside almost. But then the prophecy started. When I didn't choose God, but in quatrain, very very dark. And then I remember I went on YouTube and trying to do this, and God told me, new construction, tell them you want to be hot. I remember I slept, I took a tent, I slept for about almost a week. I was from nothing, needed to sleep, being happy from weeks. And to finish this, I continue, and there was like the Good Shepherd, and something like government. I continue, and this was the last stage. There was a installation with like in North Vancouver, just there, about files, and I heard there was a bench, the last spot, and I heard congratulations, you Illuminati, and then I slept there, not knowing that behind that installation was sewer. Who does this? An installation, this in the front, in the back with a bench, and it's a sewer that the water doesn't run. Completely crazy in Vancouver, satanic new age, there's installation everywhere. That was new from me. It's everywhere and it follows you, and it forces in your life. And was disgusted. I woke up, it went me backwards as it entered into my pore. For about a week or two. I washed myself when I couldn't see in the dark. There was the sewer. I woke up. Oh man, everywhere. I freaked out. I started to have allergies. It was disgusting. And I'm like, I cursed them. I'm like, this is what they're doing because now it's like files. It means nothing no more. It's piss. Now it's all electronic. I'm very mad about this, and very very cheap shot, low shot, anyways. And that's it. So I guess I went from refusing God to the worst, and refusing the worst, and went on the other side by passing a good government. In government, there's also good people. There's a war there too. It might look like, but they know that there's a war. Sometimes they have to think, okay, what I want to do for what, slowing down the evil. And that's where maybe back in the days it was not only about east west, was also God was involved, and for some people in it. But and that's it. So I'm gonna leave this very long dream. I'm sorry about this, but I think I've done a bit of teaching talk, and whoever is gonna listen, I think it's pretty interesting. Uh, two in one. So God bless you. Pray for me, please. It does help. Like last day, I think somebody prayed, and I went to the store, couldn't remember my nip, and I had two cards. But before I could pull the other one, I stepped aside to think because I'm gonna wait a check on that one. And a guy that came to me and hurt my skin, a worker or something, and I'm like, he was looking at me and standing there almost on purpose. Some people do that and feed themselves like this. I remember when exactly I thought, running. The devil is like snakes, John the Baptist, and I almost curse him. I curse in the air, or like I swear, and I didn't do that for a long time. And I went out, and the guy was in front of me later on the line. That's the guy who bought me the stuff. And I even heard to say, tell him you have money. I had in my thing. So it was $12, but somebody that pays in your cashier on $12 without you asking, it's it's pretty nice, especially when you're down to your last 25 or $30 on two cards. And I knew that days or before somebody said they will pray for me. So it does help, because it does help, and it makes you more nice, just like a priest. You receive, it makes, because when it's always one way, even if it's God's will, like John the Baptist had nothing. Well, it makes them, and that may be God's will, more inclined to, no, this is the way you gotta find, like a voice scream in the altar. I read in the scripture, my servant is easy to hunger, because so much, and can be nobody wants to hear the truth no more, and they like, yeah, and it's false, and it's just enough for some people, and we need those people too, just like George Bush, he said about Pope Benedict. We need those people. I see God in his eyes. And when the real Pope was there, Benedict, there was a cool in the air. I guess I felt safe. This anti-Pope, when they put everything went down. So, okay, God bless you. Pray for me. I'm gonna try, after saying this, to pray for the world, which I don't do never, because I'm sick of it. I want Jesus to come, and it's been years I haven't prayed for the world, and I was choosing to pray for the mercy of the world. Uh, I believe one of the most, if not the most, I shouldn't say the most. I heard it's very bad, but let's say one of the top 10 in the world. So imagine, and nothing for years. It's true that I left God, and He told me, Jesus, you broke my heart, but even today I can't. Um, Maybe it's because God's will, judgment comes, but we always can't. But okay, God bless you. Thank you. Bye, Father, Son, Holy Spirit.